Hello everybody. Alright, so we have some really interesting cards on the table right now. I love the way, by the way, that within and without came out like one after the other. I always like these kind of little synchronicities that come in. What we have on the table currently is acceptance, desire, vibration, empathy, the spiral, the blank card, within, without, and trail. All of these indicate together a story of a journey. The acceptance. Acceptance in this book, it's saying I accept that there's certain things that I can't change. I like that in the way that it comes in. I'm going to see, yeah. It says we cannot change the cards we are dealt, just how we play the hand. I like that. It says signifies the end of one season and heralds the beginning of another. And the bloom brings you an important reminder to appreciate each moment you are in, understanding that nothing lasts forever. So I feel that this is kind of, in a way, the Ten of Swords, which is an interesting card to put in when there's blooming flowers. But I think that the message in this is that there's a beginning and an ending to everything. The blank card is always the indication for me of deciding what you want to put here. What kind of life you're going to build. It's like a chance at a restart, especially with that acceptance of this is accepting something, right, for what it is. You have the desire card. This card is in an important position. It's like telling you, take a moment to figure out exactly what you want. What do you desire out of your life? What do you want out of your own personal wants, right? Not necessarily what everybody else wants, to really listen to yourself. The spiral is the different positions. The spiral, I love this because this is the truest form of the life we live here, right? It's the spinning, it's the change, and depending on the way it goes up, it can go up or down. It can suck you in or elevate you. So it's the difference between, it's the decision of what momentum you're creating. So the blank card with it, that's what it feels like. It's saying, decide. Where do you want this to go? The within, the without, both of them are important. It feels like the masculine and the feminine being the within, so in and out, right? The in is what you are going inside of yourself. What are you looking for inside of you? What makes you you? The out can be a different thing. Then it's like, it would be like, I figured out that I want to do that. How are you going to put it out there? The Trails card, beautiful. It's like my favorite here. If you look at it, it's like there are different kinds of trails here. It indicates the journey that you're going on. It indicates that the road may not be a straight shot, not a straight line. Definitely something that's going to take you different places. And a lot of the time we always put that as in, oh, it's chaotic, it doesn't really have a pattern. It really does, though. Everything has a reason, a season, right? The vibration card, kind of self-explanatory. You have to go into your vibrational body to figure out exactly where you're going and what you're doing, right? You have to be in vibration with yourself. If you're going after something, it's not about doubt, it's not about fear, it's about your personal vibration to it. Take anything that you have committed to with all of your heart, that you feel within yourself, like, oh, I really want to do that. That's the thing. That's the thing. Don't let your mind rationalize it. It's the thing, okay? I'm not talking about anything that is harmful to self or others, because those are different things. I'm talking about the passion that you've had all your life, things that you've wanted to do, but, you know, either talked yourself right out of, or just, you know, put it down for a minute and forgot about it. But it's something that you revisit constantly. This is what I'm talking about. So the big thing is to go inside, figure this out, and then figure out how it will be outside. That's where the empathy card comes out. This empathy is about feeling what others are feeling, but it's also when you are empathic, especially as a Pisces, you probably are, you probably feel what others need, okay? You can use this to your advantage, and I rarely say this, but you can. You have a little bit of a... You have like an upper hand card here that you can use as Pisces. By feeling out what people's needs are, you can put yourself in a better position to offer them what they need. And in a way that they'll want it too. So while you're figuring out your passion, you can also try to figure out how to bring it to them. I'm going to give you a little trick. It has nothing to do with this. The best way to do it, especially if it's a business idea or anything that you want to offer, think of something you would buy. As Pisces, go look at anything that, any business that has a lot of business. How do they advertise it? What do they do with it? What catches your fancy about it? And as a Pisces, maybe you don't catch fancy about certain things, but maybe there's something you don't buy, but it sells a lot of. Go see what exactly catches somebody's attention. Sometimes it's surface stuff, and yeah, this is not always a good idea, because as a Pisces, sometimes I've had ideas and I figure, oh, I could market it that way, but because I don't like the way people do it, I don't. But let's face it, if you have a product that will help somebody and you need to put a little clickbait in there, it doesn't much matter if it helps them. You know, I know it's a way of saying it, but you know, if it gets your product to them, if it puts a little dinero into your pocket, and you people started out looking at it because, you know, it's like something that catches their attention, you know, short attention span, but still got them there, that's okay. If the people who are doing it to make a quick buck without giving any great value are doing it, then I don't see any problem really about people who will offer fantastic value doing it as well. At least the people who are buying end up buying something of quality. So yeah, you know, sometimes you have to play the game. That's just the way it is. We live in this world, and that's the way it is. But yeah, so having said all of that, that was kind of a somebody out here needed to hear it, because I like to live on my moral ground, but you know, we live in a world that's kind of interesting. Moral ground can get very, very quiet. So like for example, sometimes I put titles here. You've got to hear this right now, because those are the ones that get clicked. If my message gets across, then that's okay, right? If they get to hear something that empowers them at the end of the day, that's all that that's my entire intention here. And also helps my channel grow. So it's a give and take. It's the internal and external working together, like these cards right here. That was the whole point to that. And it could be the point to this card as well, right? It's the different ways. That squiggly line sometimes is the one that's going to get you there, right? Sometimes the little dots, the little dash. Just, you know, mix it up. Figure it out, okay? So you have the vibration, the empathy, all of that together. I'm going to pull a tarot card, because there is no tarot in here. We got this card yesterday. It's the Five of Swords. Now, the Five of Swords is that type of card that comes in and brings in differing opinions. This is exactly what this is. Differing opinions. You're going to be looking at things from a different viewpoint. This card's always the one that I used to say, look, each side of a battle is, that side thinks it's doing the right thing, right? Every time. I want you to really consider, like I said, putting yourself more in the middle stance and seeing both sides. Especially with this card right here, being on the fence, because he's got all the swords, but he has no more friends. It's that kind of thing, right? It's always like, who really won here? Who's the winner? Who's the loser, right? So if you stand on a moral high ground for a, you know, a little clickbaity title, which doesn't really, it's not really saying anything wrong. I think you really should hear this message right now, but it is also something that's dragging somebody in. Somebody could stand in the moral high ground and say, you should write what you'd blah blah, and that's fine. But like I said, sometimes it's, if you're fighting on a side that's gonna always end up seeing you lose, just because you refuse to play a little bit, right, to get some people in, then what are you actually winning or losing, right? You're winning the right to say it exactly the way it's said, you know, like without using any tactics, yes. But in the end, what are you losing? You're losing the ability to reach more people. You're losing the fact that the title really doesn't matter. It's more for YouTube to put it in people's faces. It's not really misleading them. It's just not really, you know, saying the whole reading in the title. So, like I said, it's a varied degree. What are you actually winning? What are you actually losing? You don't need to put yourself in a space where it's so restrictive that you never see any kind of forward momentum. You need to take into consideration all things. Are you sucking yourself into the pit while you're thinking that you're spiraling up? Okay? Sometimes you've got to realize that you have to accept that sometimes you can't just do the road in a straight line. Sometimes you have to take a few detours to get where you need to go. Right? I'm not saying to do anything bad to anybody or deceive anybody. That is absolutely not the message here. The message is sometimes you have to bend it a little bit, just a tiny little bit, okay? So that you can put your foot in the door of a place that you are meant to be, that you are meant to help people. And that's it. I know it was a strange one, but I don't think so. I think it's a good one. It's a good lesson to learn, because sometimes we're so hard on ourselves and we don't really need to be. We just need to follow the line and know where the big line we shouldn't cross, because then we end up thinking we're winning and we're losing. So just pay attention to that, right? Be smart, be savvy. Don't be manipulative to anybody. If you're going to be manipulative to systems that are running on very old things, that are not really giving you a chance, but don't manipulate the people. I manipulate the YouTube algorithm. It doesn't really hurt anybody. It just puts my videos out there, but I do not manipulate the people. So that's the thing, right? So keep that absolutely in mind when you are doing this. All right, my beautiful ones. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the next one.